Hello my guys, it has been some time. Dan Fitz, street preacher, coming to you live. We all know that mathematical equation where, as men, you might find yourself in the pub, workplace, maybe a road rage incident where we interact with other men and we have a disagreement, we have conflict, and this can be solved either verbally, legally, physically. I'm going to talk about physically for understanding's sake and for today's sermon, why no one is jacked. Now, that's not really my biggest concern or what I believe is the most important thing for you as a man. Like working out, having a six-pack, having heaps of muscle, being tanned and lean, it's really not the most important thing in the world. It may seem that way with the fitness industry in the West and how superficial we've become as a society, but having had the body that most men want at times, having been incredibly muscular or having the body of a Muay Thai fighter, I can tell you from experience that it doesn't bring you everything you want, but I can also tell you that when you look good, you feel good, or at least a little better. When you feel strong and healthy, it's easy to deal with the problems and the challenges that we all face. I can tell you that from experience. My clients, the guys in the DFP, the hundreds of people, thousands of people that I've trained in the gyms over the years, they'll tell you that their life is much easier and slightly better when they look and feel good. Now, why can't people do it? Why can't they control what they eat? Physically train their body to shape it in the way that they want it? Why can't they do it? Is it genetics? Is it steroids? Is it the right protein powder? Is it lack of it? Like, what is it? When you're confronted by another man who's bigger, stronger, scarier than you, although as most men, we're not afraid of anything, huh? I'm not afraid of anything. Okay. I haven't been live in maybe 2 weeks, possibly longer. Why? My best friend, my little cat, he went missing. Now he's a street preacher, this big tough guy, and his cat went missing and broke my heart. I didn't want to go live, I didn't want to make videos, I didn't want you guys to see how upset I was. Good news is he's sitting behind me now. Found him. But that was something unexpected. That was something that I guess I wasn't ready for. And when we're confronted by another man, our subconscious mind, our mind, it does a mathematical equation very quickly. Am I willing to confront this person? Am I willing to have a heated discussion? Am I willing to do this if I need to? Or the old, I'll get my lawyers involved. And we understand that's going to be a financial, emotional burden over time. The same way people are jumping onto this live, and if they're the only one here and it's just me and them, they jump off because they're scared. But if I get over that barrier where it's 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 people, they all stay on. Imagine what it's like being on the other side of the camera. This is what I get the guys in the DFP to do. When they sign on the dotted line, when they pay me money, when they're in a free program or a paid program, when I'm coaching them the same way that I'm speaking to you now, I say make a video, not because I want them to be good at making videos, not because I want them to build some kind of social media presence. I simply want them to talk. I want them to look themselves in the eye. I want them to look someone else in the eye and talk from the heart. It's very hard. Not just on camera, but in person. That's why we don't do it. When you set out to have a six-pack, lose weight, whatever it is, whatever fitness goal it is, whatever goal it is in life, your mind does a quick mathematical equation, the same way if I were to confront you in the street, or someone who makes you feel uncomfortable was to confront you in the street, we either rise to the occasion or you step back, fight or flight. When I started training, I didn't truly set out to build the body that I did. I mean, yeah, I had some idea that's how I wanted to look, but I just kind of started. And as I started to see my body change, as I started to train with, I had a little different education in regards to lifting weights. I mean, I spent $5,000 on learning how to be a personal trainer, learning how to be a coach. My best friend in my younger years, he was the biggest dude I ever met to this day. Scary motherfucker, but he knew a lot about lifting weights. And when I got to a point that my pride, my fear, the time and money versus what I wanted was irrelevant, I just did what needed to be done. Now, I found myself in prison at 21. That's not really something that I'm proud of, but it was an education process in regards to lifting weights. I remember I was doing bent over rows, a good back exercise. I was doing bent over rows, and this huge dude came over to me in the prison gym. He said to me, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh fuck, what's happening now?" He said, "Your back is arched over, it should be straight. You're going to injure your back, you're not doing it right, so keep your back straight, not arched over." I was like, thanks. And you're going to face these challenges, you're going to face these adversities when you start doing what you think you want to do. You're going to have a reality check, like, I'm not as good as I thought I was going to be. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. This is going to take longer than I thought it was going to be. When people say to me, "I want to look like you," or "I want to look like this body or that body," how long is it going to take? It's going to take as long as it takes to get there. Now, this can be based on your genetics, based on the time and effort you commit to something, your lifestyle. Obviously, you got 5 kids, or you're a young guy with no family. It's going to be different. But if you commit 30 minutes every single day to these things that you want, 30 minutes. The average person watches 4 hours of television a day. 4 hours. Average person. If you commit 30 minutes to doing the thing that you want to do, the time is going to pass anyway. Whatever money or effort or resources you say or think you don't have, you're going to spend that on something else anyway. So why wouldn't you spend it on the damn thing that you want? I mean, going back to fitness, just for understanding's sake, the average gym membership's about $12. The average time frame minimum to get your body to change, 30 to 45 minutes 3 times a week. You could get your body to change with that. So 3 times a week, 30 to 45 minutes, $12. Sure, you might be lacking the knowledge and the information on what to do. But I mean, like this video, there's so much information out there that's free. There's no shortage of information, there's no shortage of knowledge, there's no shortage of people willing to help you, whether you pay them or otherwise. It's simply just sitting down each and every single day, whether your cat's missing, whether your girlfriend left you, whether you have money, whether you feel like it, and just committing that 30 minutes, that 1 hour, that couple of hours to that thing that you say you want to do. And just like me, I just turned 36. Just turned 36. And just about everything that I wanted to achieve physically, I've done. But that's over a 10-year time frame, at least. I started Muay Thai when I was 18 or 19. I started lifting weights around the age of 21. And by the age of 25, 26, even up until the age of 30, I achieved, competed, looked, felt, crossed psychological barriers, and created something that I never thought possible. Now, mind you, it's easy to understand now when you see me. It's easy to understand with the last name fits. It's easy to understand when you see how either I used to look at my peak or now, that it may have been somewhat easy for me. But when you see that I was a mechanic with a drinking problem, surrounded by people who had no goals, no ambition, no understanding of fitness or basically anything, apart from 9-to-5 jobs, doing the bare minimum, partying on the weekend. Where you're at now, based on what it is you want, and I still understand most people these days follow me because of the fitness advice, and they think that's the most important thing, and it goes hand in hand with achieving anything, absolutely. But here's the real kicker. You'll have to overcome fear, whatever it is you think you want or whatever it is you actually want. You'll have to overcome your mind. I don't have time, I don't have money, I can't do it right now, I'll start next week. Do what you can, weigh out what you have. If it's shit, good, at least it's done. If something's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. That's a lot of shit. If something's worth doing, just do it. And if it's fucked, fix it next week. If you go to the gym and you only last 10 minutes, it's better than not going at all. Here's a piece of advice that I think is going to change your life. And a lot of the time we think we're procrastinating. Maybe you are. But if you sit down to do something or stand up to do something and you've taken that 1 hour to do it, and for whatever reason you don't do it, whether that be speaking, whether that be asking out a girl, whether that be working out a financial plan, like whatever that reason is that you don't do it, you're there to do it. It's not that you're procrastinating. You haven't broken down said task into something small enough that you can overcome it. The same way if you were boxing, you wouldn't jump in the ring and take on the heavyweight world title straight up. You'd fight someone about your weight, about your experience, and build yourself up from there if you were to win. And that's what you need to do with your challenges, with your problems, with your tasks. Instead of seeing the end goal, instead of seeing the end result, instead of seeing someone like me, and I say I've spent hundreds of thousands on my education, I spent hours and hours and years building my body. It's taken me 10 years plus to build and acquire the things that I've had or have. If you were 45, you think, well, 10 years I'd be 55. If you're 20 and you don't have $1 to your name, like, you could create one or many reasons why you don't even start. But all you need to simply do is, I have 30 minutes. Going back to what I said before, do you have 30 minutes 3 times a week and $12 a week for a gym membership? If you're watching this on a smartphone, probably. And just break down your goals and these things that you want to the smallest thing. If you can't handle thinking 6 months ahead, break it down to a month. If you can't handle planning a month ahead, break it down to the week and so on. Break it down to a day, break it down to an hour. And this is key and crucial to understanding, I don't like to use the word, but depression or sadness or mental illness. That can cripple you, that can stop you from doing anything if it's all you think about. But if you set aside each hour, each day and say, all right, I'm probably going to wake up depressed, but if I wake up depressed, then at least get out of bed and go for a walk. Are you really going to make excuses about why you can't do that? If you're too afraid or too depressed to go outside, I'm going to just get up and I walk into the kitchen and do 10 push-ups and do 1 push-up. I'm going to jog on the fucking spot. I mean, you break it down to the point where it's almost ridiculous if you couldn't or don't do it. I mean, brutally honest for a second, I mean, would it be fair to say you're just a lazy cunt and you're not actually depressed? Would it be fair to say that you're just being a pussy about not doing these things that you know you could do? Because I can say I was there myself. I was depressed, or I had no money, or all these stories. And once you find yourself working out, once you find yourself putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, not just in the gym, but in business, in life. I mean, here's someone who was too afraid to speak to girls when I was in high school. I'd walk up to any girl on the beach right now and just have a conversation with them, not because I want to get laid or not because I want something from them, but that doesn't bother me. But there are still things that I need to overcome psychologically, fear. What am I not committing enough time to? When I do commit the time to it, am I executing on the tasks that need to be done? And write this shit down. I mean, this is something that changed my life. This is something that I teach my guys. You get a book, pretty crazy stuff, and you get a pen, might be breaking the budget with that, and you just write down what you did during the day. Did you do it, yes or no? Not why. Did you do it, yes or no? And if you look at that over a week, okay, I was going to get up, I was going to walk into the kitchen, I was going to do 10 push-ups, that's it. Go about the rest of your day. If you look at that after 7 days, I didn't get out of bed, do 10 push-ups in my motherfucking kitchen. It's almost laughable, isn't it? I was depressed. Were you really? I'd be depressed too if I couldn't do that. Your life is a collection of your choices. Your choices have led you to where you are now. And unfortunately, my friends, but also fortunately, as a man, once you accept that, you can face fear, you can get out of your comfort zone, you can start to achieve shit. Or you won't. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. But I can tell you from being both those people, I would highly suggest facing fear, facing humiliation, facing pain, facing the chance of failure, because you will. But that's the very fucking thing that builds you up, makes you stronger. Creating excuses, creating reasons, creating stories about why you didn't go for a walk in the morning, or about why you don't have 3 chunks of 30 minutes a week to go to the gym to build something, when you watch, let's say 4 hours of television, let's say 2 hours, an hour of television, 5 days a week. It's 5 hours. Most of you are doing that, I guarantee that. And you didn't have 3 30-minute blocks. And here's the thing, if you don't have the self-love, the self-esteem, the self-respect to do it for yourself, I guarantee you there's someone in your life, whether it be your family, your partner, someone at work, a friend, that loves you more than you love yourself, that wants to see you succeed. And it hurts them to see you like this. Is that something that you want to allow to happen? Is that something that I'm okay with hurting these people? I'm okay with the pain that these people experience from watching me do this to myself. Personally, not me. And the reason why I make these videos for you, you watching this right now, you taking the time and effort. I mean, You spend 20 minutes listening to me. I make these for you. Because hopefully you watch this and this is something that lights your fuse, that lights your spark, to get you snapped out of the fucking trance that you're in. And you do something. Whether that's work with me or completely change your fucking life on your own. Both are fine with me. Both give me reason and purpose and passion to continue doing this. I made videos on YouTube for 5 years, 500 videos. Very little views. $0 made. But it was during that time I learned how to speak. I learned how to create content. I learned how to get my message across. You don't just turn on a camera and go, believe it or not. Because more often than not, the things that you want to do, you won't get paid for in the beginning. They won't be easy in the beginning. You're going to be shit, for lack of better words. That's how you get better. And that might be 5 years, that might be 10 years, that might be 500 fucking videos that you make. I don't remember that period in time. Like, it's irrelevant to me. Because I'm focused on what I want in the future. I'm focused on who I want to become, what I'm going to experience, what I'm going to achieve, what I'm going to do. Even now, having done all the shit that I've already done, even now, that's what I think. So whether you're 30, 40, 50, have 2 kids, have no kids, whether life has kicked the shit out of you, just wake up every morning and remember this. What do I want to achieve this year? What do I want to achieve this month? What do I want to achieve this week? And what do I want to achieve today? Maybe you can sit on a live video with Dan longer than 10 seconds. And once you break it down that simply, you'd be surprised what you can get done. You'd be surprised what you can achieve. Trust me on that. I mean, it's been so long, got new lighting in here. Tell me how that is, guys. Tell me what's been going on in your life. Yeah, sometimes you're going to lose things in life. Thanks to the grace of God or something, I found my cat. Believe it or not, he travelled about 10 minutes drive over 2 weeks. And I found him again. But had I not found him, regardless of what had happened, it's loss that you learn from. It's failure that you learn from. Not winning, not gaining things. That's a sign that you've learned. That's a sign that you've grown. That's a sign that you're pushing harder than you used to, which is awesome. But you learn from loss, you learn from pain, you learn from failure because you don't want to experience that again. And although I was lucky this time around, I learned that I need to be more responsible as a pet owner. I need to look after my little buddy a lot better. And that might sound simple or that might sound silly, but if I was to look at the problems or the challenges or the things that you need to fix, and I laid it out like that, you'd almost be embarrassed about how fucking simple and ridiculously easy it would be to do day by day. But you get caught up in the distractions, you get caught up in watching television instead of doing something. You surround yourself with people in the same or similar situation to you, and before you know it, 20 years fucking goes by. Don't get caught in that trap. This 20 minutes where I've spoke to you, I felt more alive in this than I have all week. This 20 minutes I've spent with you, I'm not just sharing what's on my mind right now. This is 15 years of knowledge, 15 years of wisdom, 15 years of pain. Where I'm able to sit down and look at it and share the information with you. What you do with it is up to you. So it's good to be back. You will have setbacks, you will have challenges, you will have pain. Trust me on that. But it's not what you do when you're winning. It's not what you do when you get paid. It's what you do when you get punched in the fucking face. Whether you get back up or not, that's who you are. Whether you try again, that's who you are. And whether you have the integrity and accept the responsibility as a man to look at something and say, all right, cool, I can change this, or I'll fix this, or this won't happen again, and actually commit to that, you'll keep repeating the same shit. You'll keep feeling the same pain. Because it's there to teach you something. You can ignore it, you can dull it out, you can pretend it's not there. But if you're doing that right now, you probably know it's not a life worth living. It's not something that you would want to tell people about. No one would want to buy your program, including yourself. And that's okay, but it's not okay to stay there. I'm Dan Fitz, a street preacher. God bless. Godspeed.